Good job.
It's interesting, this Gemara, I'm waiting so long till we get there once, because we learned a Maimer, I think it was 3 or 4 years ago. Remember in the Sukkah, there's a beautiful Maimer from the Alter Rebbe, V'osam Riva V'is Kodesh. The Alter Rebbe goes through the 3 numbers. In Lashon Kodesh, there is 10, then there is 100, then there is 1,000, and then there's 10,000. That's it. That's where the numbers stop. After that, you just but there isn't a name for it.
Right, river vices.
Right. Also, Meriva Veis Kodesh, 10,000. Right. And you can have Alfei Revovis. Right. You can have 1,000,000. You can have 10 times the Revova, which is 100,000. And then you can have 100 times the Revova. Million. But that's using other numbers. But the Alter Rebbe went through in the Sfiris and Kedusha, what are the singles, and what is the 100, and what is the 1,000, and what is the 10,000. And the Alter Rebbe brings that ayah from this Mishnah. So really, it's a little earlier. Daf Mem Tesam at Beis in the bottom of the page. Keitzad Mezamne. How is the brocha of Zimun? Shloisha Omer. You have 3 people. You say Navorech. Shloisha Vahu. If there's 4 people, who Omer is Shloisha Vahu. If there's 3 plus him 4, Omer Borchu. He says to them, Borchu, you should bench. Now the halacha is not this way. But what's the we always say Navorech. But according to the Tanakama, this would be more choshev because they don't even need him. So you could say the Loshen Baruchu. Masora Omer Navorech Alekenu. Masora Vahu. Now there's 11 people. Omer Baruchu, because they don't need him. So he could tell them, Kilo, it's a command. It's not only a suggestion, but he could give them a command, Baruchu. Echad Asora ve'echad Asora Riboy. After you have 10, it makes no difference. If you have 10, if you have 100 or 1,000 or 10,000 or 10 times 10,000, also Zobazak. However, the Gemara continues that
what was Stama for the record? What was ever the biggest benching?
Klal Yisrael had?
Yeah.
When Klal Yisrael eat together a Suda?
Right.
Like
and everybody bench together. Like something big. It doesn't happen. We had in the soil not long ago that they made something, and they had an apostle for having.
Right, they had the Broch of Chamaroz, and they said.
Something like that. There was how many people was there? I'm not sure. Even though not everybody saw it, everybody, but because most of the people saw it, everybody, so they made a Broch. But by benching,
where was the? It's a good question. Like you find when they built the base of Mikdash, but then Lavdafka they all ate together. You have to find that.
The maximum you could make a chabur in Pesach to fill up the Azor, close the door, and that's it.
Right. When they ate
then
together.
Again.
It's a good question.
So it will be the same thing. It will be the same thing. The bracha will be the same.
The bracha will be the same thing. That's Tanakama.
Okay.
But the second Tana disagrees. Says the Gemara says it'll be a machloikis. He says no. Depends if it's 10 or 100 or 1,000 or 10,000. B'meya hu oimer navarach Hashem alekeinu. B'meya v'hu borchu.
But we don't do
Be'elef we don't do that. Be'elef hu oimer navarach Hashem alekeinu alekei Yisrael. Be'elef v'hu borchu. B'ribui, which is 10,000. So you have 100, you have 1,000, you have 10,000. Oimer navarach Hashem alekeinu alekei Yisrael alekei tzvakas yeshiv akruvim. Allah wasn't Shachalna, but Ibn Bahu again. Oimer borchu.
Every time he says that, not the Bahu. Because the Bahu. When is Bahu? Like
there's more than 1,000.
One of the 1,000 people, like what's making Bahu?
He's the one that mentions. As long as there's more than 1,000. 1,003 is the same thing. Kinyan Shuma Vorech Kach Oinen Nachadov. For example, the answer for the Ribu Borach Hashem Elokeinu, Elokei Yisrael, Elokei Tzvokes, Yeshavei Kruvim Alabozim Shachalma. Good. So that's Tanakama and the second, the Choylek Olav. But they both seem to agree, Tanakama and the Choylek Olav, and the Halach is not that way, that whenever you have one extra person, if you have a 3, or if you have 10, or if you have 100, or 1,000, or 10,000, in any one of these 5 cases, if you have one more, instead of saying Nevorech, you say Baruch. We don't pass them that way. But the other thing is, so this is one issue, and the other issue is what Nusach you say. So we pass the only by 3 you say without Shem Hashem, about the Minyan Hashem, the rest makes no difference. So the Mishnah continues. So basically, like the Mishnah just said, that based on how big the call is, if it's 3, if it's 10, if it's 100, 1,000, or 10,000. Shenemar b'makelos borchu Elokim Hashem and Kol Yisrael. The makelos means a different type of kohol. Not the kohol, the makelos. There's many types of kohol. What does it mean, many types of kohol? There's a kohol or not a kohol. If there's a minyan, you have a kohol. If there's less, there's not a kohol. Makelos means that there's many levels in kohol gufa. There's a big kohol, there's another kohol, there's a small. How do you? So therefore, every 10 makes a big difference. Every number 10 makes a big difference.
But what's the halakha today? We go just Elokeinu for 10.
Right, that's it. That's it. Omer Bakiva, Mama Tzina v'Beis HaKnesses, Echad Merubim v'Echad Moatim. It doesn't matter. Omer Borchu Es Hashem Gendik. It makes no difference. If as long as I'm Yemen, you're not a minyan. Yemen, you're not a minyan. We don't find there should be a different nusach. By Baruch, if there is 100, 10, 100, 1,000, 10,000, there's no difference. It's always Baruch Hu Hashem. So therefore, the Gemara will say later, Rabbi Yosef Eglili, Rabbi Akiva is really, this is the Tanakama, and this is the Tanakama and Rabbi Yosef Eglili, according to Gemara later. Rabbi Yosef Eglili and Rabbi Akiva, the Rabbi Akiva is the Tanakama basically. The Rabbi Akiva holds like the Tanakama, he holds, it's always the same thing. Less than a minyan, you can't say Shem Hashem. And a minyan, you say Shem Hashem, that's it. But after that, if you have 10, if you have 100, you have 1,000, you have 10,000, all the same thing. Rabbi Yosef Eglili holds no. Why? In a shul, everyone agrees Taka there's 10. Why? Because it's the Yerushalmi says it's a technical reason. Well, as a chazan has to, today you have, some places where the chazan runs around looking at this person sit and that person sit there. It didn't work that way, Amol. The Shliach Tzibur gedavent. Then people were coming in. He doesn't know if there's 10, if there's 100, if there's 1,000. He's going to go around counting. Mashenkim, by the meal, it's clear, you know how many people are sitting at the table, so therefore, we want to Meroiv Am, and we want to be Meshabech the Eibishter. Look at, there's a beautiful, the Marsov says, that the Shleimus in Kedusha, and the Shleimus in a number is 10. So 10, 100, 1,000, and 10,000. So, whenever Zakol Be'asar Shchinta Sharia, so it's good, but if there is an extra, so that's 10. When there's 100, there's a higher level in Shroas HaKedusha. And when it's 1,000, it's even a bigger level in Shroas HaKedusha. And it's 10,000, it's even a bigger level.
Where are we reading?
I'm just telling you from the Marsov. I'm just telling you from the Marsov.
Okay, I didn't hear it.
So as I said, there is just a technical reason why by davening we don't do it. But be'etzem, according to the Rabbi Yosef Eglili, we say that there's a bigger Ashros HaKedusha when there is a bigger number to the 10. There's 10, there's a bigger 10, which is 100, there's a bigger, which is 1,000, a bigger when it's 10,000. That's what the Marsov said.
I forgot what you said in shul, we wouldn't do it.
Why? Because he's going to have to run around and check how many people are here. It doesn't make sense to do that b'shas tefillah.
Yeah.
But b'shas hasuda, you usually know how many people are here,
Yeah,
right? You have a guest list. It's a chasna. A lot of people is 1,000 people.
Yeah.
I didn't come.
But you know that it's 1,000 people coming.
What is it? You sent that invitation. You prepared a suda. Okay, one person came less, one more, but you sent that invitations.
Right.
And people told you if they're going to come to the Suda. So a few people told you they'll come, they don't come, and connect them. A few people didn't show you. They can. Okay, but you know how many people are coming to the Suda. Mashenkin by davening, you don't know. But Rabbi Yosef Glili be'etzam, he holds that there is a higher level in Ashras HaKedusha. There is a kol be'esor shchinta sharia, and the Maimer, the Alter Rebbe goes through the 5 levels. And basically there's midois, and there's moichin, and then there's rotzen, and there's tainug, and each one is in a higher level of kedusha. So in other words, the Alter Rebbe goes through, there's ma and mei, I'll take the ma meya, that's malchus, and then you have midois, and then you have moichin, and then you have rotzen, and then you have tainug. These 5 levels. So question is, what's the level of kedusha that's revealed here? When you have 10 Yidden, you have the lowest level of Ashras HaKedusha. When you have 100, there's a higher level of Ashras HaKedusha. You have 1,000 even. And you have 10,000, you have the highest level of Ashras HaKedusha. When you have Riva you have the highest level of and revelation of Kedusha.
In other words, the question Lashon Kaidish is no word after Rivava, so that's telling you
that's
the Rabbi saying that it's Baruchnius.
Right, it's not Stam, right.
You're not going to be able to bring a whole Jewish people together.
Ribo is no different than house.
Yeah.
But wait, so I want to ask, according to Rabbi, well, first of all, this is what the Marsov says, it's from another Gemara somewhere, in other words. I mean, how does he know? Rabbi Yosef says Hashrash Shchina and all that stuff.
That's his father.
He said it himself.
The Marsov said it from his father.
So Rabbi Kiva, when he says you shouldn't change the Nusach, maybe he also believes in this thing, like Marsha says, but what? He makes a rule like this. He says, just like in Shul, we don't change it, like sort of local, we don't want to change because it makes it.
Okay, I like your shot.
Maybe,
I had a different shot in mind.
Okay.
I had a different shot.
I'm just,
Yeah, I like your shot.
I'm thinking about what's the machlaikas, I mean, if it's just in the Nusach or in the Rachmius, so
because we know the cloud, the wall,
right.
So the more
that's why this bringing this mission that brings all these things.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So the emes is when you say Berei B'Amadas Melech, it could be in the Gavra that the Yidden are giving more cover to the Eibishter. But according to the Marsha, this is more in the Cheftzah. That we're saying there's a stronger Ashras HaKedusha. And the way the Alter Rebbe learns in the first Maimer of Bezois HaBrocha, that here there's Ashras HaKedusha Malchus, and here it's even Midois, and here is even the Moichin, here the Rotzen, even the Tainug of the Eibishter in the Skala. Yeah, that's a Pashas Bezois HaBrocha. V'osam Meriva V'Skodesh, and that's why over there is the Maimer. And the Alter Rebbe says the Mishnah in Perek Zayin, the Brochos.
That's the mission.
We learned it a few years ago in the Sukkah. I was thinking that the Pshat is similar to many things that we learned lately about Tfilm, Alpi Kabbalah. So the thing is that many things we had the same idea come up that Bisman Hazeh, because our level is we're in Golus, we're in Chutzalor, for whatever reason, so we can't be mamshich the bigger hamshachas. So there's no point. For example, Apik Kabbalah, why is it that big tzaddikim didn't wear tefillin all day? So Meila Hamoinam. So and it can be nizir in the machshavas, it can be nizir in the kohen haguf. So the noyek to wear it only b'shas atfila, b'shas krishma, because of Meidei the sheker. That's the minig Yisrael. But why Gedolei Yisrael that they could be shomer on the kohen haguf and the hesach hadas? Why didn't they? So one of the biurim that was saying is that in this generation, it's like the Eibishter said to Moshe, Reid, that klum nasati l'chagdul al b'shvil Yisrael, your whole godless for Yidden, and the Gedolei Ador, the Tzadikei Ador are not bigger than the Dor itself. So if the Dor itself is in a level that they can't be mamshech that kedusha, So it doesn't make sense for the Gedolei Adoyer to put on film the whole day. They're not in the dag. This generation is not in the level to bring down that moichin, that the same thing, Api Kabbalah, for example. Why don't we make a separate bracha, Tfil Shalyat and Tfil Sharosh? So we went through the Machloikas of Rashi and Toisus and the Gemara. We said Api Kabbalah is that, and there's those that do it, right? But it's interesting that those that don't do it, they say, no, really there should be a bracha for it. But we're not on the level to make a bracha as Malosh Amshocha. Tfil Sharosh is bigger than Tfil Shalyat. That's such a big Amshocha, we don't have the koyach to be mamshach.
To make the bracha.
Yeah. It's not the pshat that according to Api Kabbalah we don't say it, but not because it's because no, we can't be mamshach that Amshocha. It could be, you could say the same thing here in our Mishnah, that Rabbi Kiva says that B'zman hazeh till Mashiach comes, we can always have Shchinta Sharia, the Shchina that showed him the 10, 100 doesn't add to it. Mitzvah Mashiach will come, and we'll have Kibbutz Goliath from Kol Yisrael.
Then will be a big Suda, he says,
then will be the big Suda. So maybe then, when David HaMelech, it says that David HaMelech is going to get the kibbutz, the bench. Yeah, so David HaMelech is going to get the kibbutz, the bench, the Birchas Hamazon. So maybe then, Takir, they're going to say the fancy Nusach, which is the Nusach that you say Beribui.
Don't understand that. Well, on the Zimun, Ashkenazim say he's Shem Hashem. Even by the Zimun, we say Hashem. Well, then the Brochos we don't say because it's we have a minyan. So how come we say back to the Shem Hashem? The voice of Bel mentioned he's Shem Hashem. We say the Shem Hashem. Even by the Zimun, his father don't. They have a whole different Nusach.
Okay, so that's all. This is not part of the. This is all achona. We'll get to it tomorrow. We're going to get to it in the Shulchan. That's really. It's a good question. That's achona to the. It's not. From the matbeh of the Havalon V'Nivre Rabbi Samuel Benchi. It's not part of the actual Zimun. It's all our warm up to the Zimun. It's not really part of the Zimun.
It's similar like Shabbos Shulchan Shlishis. It's the rice to eat the third Suda. Api Kabbalah is so high that we can't match it. We're doing it to the Ruchni, it's not to the Gashmas. There's a lot to do it to eat it with the rice. Api Kabbalah is so high that you cannot match it to the food. It's higher.
The last line in the Mishnah is Rabbi Shmuel Omer Brochos Hashem Am Boirach. The Rabbi Shmuel says that it's Baruch Hashem Am Boirach.
He adding all the word Am Boirach.
No, that Baruch Hashem Am Boirach, exactly. He adds the word Am Boirach. That's what we do. When we do Birchas HaTorah, we don't say Baruch Hashem, we say Baruch Hashem Am Boirach. It's Agav Urche. Rabbi Akiva mentioned that in the Beis HaKnesses you say Baruch Hashem. So Rabbi Shmuel said, hey, you're right, but by the way,
Baruch
Hashem Am Boirach. We're not talking about Zimun now. This whole Pedic is about the Zimun, but Rabbi Akiva said, Mama Tzimah of Beis HaKnesses. Since he already mentioned about Beis HaKnesses, so I want to make a correction. In the Beis HaKnesses we don't say Baruch Hashem, Baruch Hashem Am Boirach. Hein, the Chazan, before Birchas Krishma, and Hein by Kriyas HaTorah. Shmuel, Lord Malgitz, Odom Esatzim in a cloud.
Anyway, it's not our Nusach. All the Mishnah said it's not our...
Right. So both things we don't pass. We don't make a difference. Shloisha v'hu, Esa v'hu, Meya v'hu, Ela v'hu, Riba v'hu, and also we don't make a difference between Meya, Eser, Meya, Ela, Fribui. Right.
What is that?
Mashmua, Leila, Yoitzod, Atzatzim in a cloud. Person should never take himself out of the cloud. None. We learned in the Mishnah. Befedish you are moitziv from the cloud. Shloishav hu'em aborchu. So the Gemara thought that there's a mile saying borchu. There's a mile saying borchu, and dafki you have to say borchu when you have 4 people. The Gemara ain't af borchu. The Gemara man could say the lashon borchu. Makom makom nevarich, or if it's better to say nevarich. because then he's part of, because he's not moitzi atzum and aklal. The Omer Abada Barava Amri Beirav Tanina. In the next Mishnah, if you have 6 people, Shisha Nachlokim Ad Yud, Yamar to be Shlem and Navarich Odif, if you say Navarich, is better to say always Navarich. Shemach and Nachlokim, that's why when you have 6 people, you split, because you have 2 times a Zimun, you're allowed to split. If you're going to tell me, Baruchu, Odif, it's better when you have 4 and one person says Baruchu. So if you have 6 people, how could you split? Amay Nachlokim. Lav Shomino Zaraya and the Baruch Odif. Shema Mino, the one says it's a good Raya. Zaraya, because that's what we said, that you have 6 people, you could split. Zaraya, that 3 and 4, there's no mile of 4 over 3. And that's Takar minute. We always say, we don't say Navarach or Baruchu. The Mishnah meant you could say the Lashon Baruchu, but Al Yoitze Adam Na Klal, it's always good that a Yid should be part of the Klal. It's always good to be part of the Klal Yisrael. So therefore, we always say as Chelik of the Klal Nivorech. Tanya Nami Yochi, Ben Shem Baruchu, Ben Shem Nivorech, Ein Tov Sinaisei. Doesn't matter what Lashon he uses, we don't bother him. HaNakdonim Tov Sinaisei Al Kach. The Nakdonim, they. So what's the word Nakdonim? So there is the Masorah brings the Girsa the Orich is Nakronim. Pirish Metaktek Shaloi Bedaver Tzoyrich. Meloshen Arabi Koilvenois Al Menaker. Going to Tarnagoylos Hamenaker Ba'ashper. Oh, that's exactly. Although my children go to school and then Lazman, if they have a nitpicker that comes to school. But the kids don't like the nitpicker.
You mean another kid who's what?
No, if a kid gets a nit, so then they have.
Oh, you're talking about lies.
Yeah.
No, I meant
Ich verstehe good.
In other words, on every little thing, the guy, like Rashi says, you don't need to, like the Kriya Satire, right? Ace and S, those have somebody yelling out.
Oh, it is exactly. It's exactly what I wanted to bring up. So, but the Rashi says it l'shvach. Rashi says Hanak Donin Dav Konin Toysinoise Al Shahoitzi Atzom in Aklal. Rashi saying in Deutsch l'shvach. Rashi is Deutsch l'shvach, and the Oruch is Deutsch l'gnai. We can, both is true, with the story with Yesh Loshin l'shvach and Yesh Deutsch l'gnai. Both are true. There is sometimes it's l'shvach and sometimes it's l'gnai.
In other words, they're not just stopping him because of the Nusach, it's because there's an Indian Haitzi.
Yeah, you shouldn't be moitzi atzim and aklal. So why is it Baruchu? It's like the Rosh and the Agoda.
Like to all be friends.
Why are you being moitzi atzim and aklal? That's what the taina we have to the Rosh and the Agoda. What's our big taina to him? Hoitzi atzim and aklal. Mo avoda azois lochem. So we don't like that language. What do you mean lochem?
Right.
What are you? You're not a Jew? What are you?
That's why Moshe Rabbeinu said Shema Yisrael Shem Elokeinu. He wanted himself also included in that.
And Lamed and the Goyim Zioni to bring from the more Menachos. Mekim Lasuk Tav Miyusham. All the way in the bottom.
I don't have it.
Lamed, the letter Lamed. And the Goyim Zioni.
I don't have a Goyim Zioni. Yeah, that's similar to Rashi. Daikonin or Dafkonin. Medaktikim las is ksav miyusha. It's in other words good. Faket l'shvach. This is l'shvach.
Chassidus are very, very big digduk. That every letter has meaning, every ot, every digduk is a tzere or a chirik, but this is a whole different mind and Chassidus, like everything have to be.
Right, the Shaila is when
The Alter was very, very big in the dark. Very, very. Every mind at the start, you bring a posuk, why is it like that? You say Rosh Morah and Rosh Moyachid. It's medactic and every ot. Because of that, he's making the whole pilpul and they explain, oh, now you understand why the digduk is like that. Medactic.
Sagt die Gemara weiter mit Brochos again in this Breise. Brochos shelo the nicker tam khochem umlav. Brochos is a brach, it's nicker is tam khochem and not. If he's a tam khochem, he says the bracha, then he's part of the klal. Kate said, what's an example of a nusach, a diktuk, and you can tell if he's a tam khochem or not. Rabbi Omer Uvetuva it is a tam khochem. Uvetuve chayinu. Uvetuve chayinu. Umituve is a bur. He says mituve. What do you mean mituve? Mituve, the man means that he gets a little bit of the Eibish's toiv. That's a bur. Amar le'abayil Rabdimi b'tziv. It says the pasuk. David the Melech says. David the Melech Yisrael says umi birchoscha yevorich beis avdecha. He said with a man, he asked that from the Eibish's bracha that he should give to him
Some.
Yeah, some, a little bit. When you're asking the Eibish, you don't ask him for everything. You ask him for a little bit. But when you thank him for everything. So Gemara b'Sheila Nami, we find when you ask the Ksiv, it says in the pasuk, open your mouth. Ask for a lot and I'll fill it up, the Eibishter says. But there is when you ask the Eibishter for Hatzlocha in learning Torah, then you have to ask for a lot. Then you ask for a lot. To ask the Eibishter, the whole Shas. You should remember everything I learned. Shematzliach, big time. But when it comes to Divrei Olam Hazeh, you ask for a little at a time. But when you thank for everything. Tanya Rabbi Yomer, it is a Tamid Chochem. Good. So Rabbi said fakert. We say Chaim.
Wait, what's fakert? He's saying.
I'm sorry. Then later we can say fakert.
Instead of saying that me tuvo is the buar.
Right, no. He says bituve. Yeah, the same thing. I'm sorry. Right, we're going to say fakert. Yeah, Tanya, Rabbi Omer is masking bituve chayinu. We say bituve chayinu. It could be two ways: bituve chayinu or bituve chayim. Chayim it is a bur. Chayinu it should say.
Yeah.
All of us. Nar beloi masni ibcha. Nar beloi said just fakert, and his logic was just the opposite. What do you mean chayinu? Only us, me, us, and our friends. Chayim is the whole world. So, but however, leis hilchasa kanar beloi. The halach is not like kanar beloi, but like the Tanakama, that chayinu is a tamid chacham. That's our nusach. Amri birchanan. The Vorach Shechalna Mishaloi, it is a Tamid Chochem. Lemisha Chalna Mishaloi. That is a bur. What do you mean Lemisha Chalna Mishaloi? Maybe it's the Balabos. Lemisha Chalna, to the one that gave us to eat. Maybe we're thanking the Balabais. So then you shouldn't say the word Lemisha Chalna Mishaloi. Amalei Rebachah B'Eder Amalei Rabashi B'Amrin, and we say in the night of Pesach and the Agoda that we make a bracha l'misha also in the Birchas Hanes at the end of the Agoda. L'misha also l'v'seinu v'lonu es kol hanisim ho'elu. Right? Shetzionim v'avdas l'chedus yeshivu l'geula ma'fer l'godel. Yeah? So we say the word l'mi. Amar l'hosa muchach miltz. Over there, it's muchach, we're talking about the Eibishter. Man ovid nisi. Who could make miracles? Kuchabrichu, the Eibishter himself. No one will make a mistake. So you could say Losh Lami, but when we talk thanking for a loaf of bread, If you're going to say Lami to the one who gave us the say maybe you're thanking to the balabas. The whole benching is to the thank you to the balabas. So you shouldn't say the word Lami. Amr Rabbi Yochanan, Brochos Shechalim Shloid is a Talmid Chacham. Alamazon Shechalim that is a bur. Amr Rav Huna B'rei the Rishua Allah Amar Al Begimel V'Lak Hashem Shemayim Basar Dik Hashem Shemayim Much Miltz. Whenever you have 10, so it's muchach that you're thanking the Eibishter, because he's saying the Eibishter's name. Kedetnan, Kinyin Shuayim, Shum Avarach, Kach, Oynin Acher, Avarach, Hashem al Keisrol, Keatzvokis, Hashem Akruvim, Alamazon Shachalmu. So we see that over there you could say Alamazon Shachalmu when you have 10. Echad Asar Riba is the Gemara, Hagufa Kasha. In the Gemara says, what do you mean? The beginning of the Mishnah we said that after 10, 100, 1,000, 10,000, all the same things. And then we say there is a difference. This is a machloikis taket Tanakama, and the second time is a machloikis, as I said in the Mishnah. It's a machloikis. Heart of Yoseglu, the heart of Akiva. It depends who you're talking about. Tanakama and the second Tana is the machloikis of Rabbi Yoseglu and Rabbi Akiva. No, Rabbi Yoseglu the Amar L'Fireva Kol Mavarch Hashem Makelas Baruch Halakim. Amar Rabbi Akiva Mamatz in Beis HaKnesses. What do we find in Beis HaKnesses? Rabbi Akiva doesn't like the difference, to say that there's a difference of 10 and 100 and 1,000 and 10,000. Rabbi Akiva says it's all the same thing. So Gemara, Rabbi Akiva Hayikra, Rabbi Yoseglu Ma'avid like. What does it do with the pasuk Makei Lois, which means that there is in Kahol, there's Loshen Rabim, there's a Kahol of 10, there's a Kahol of 100, there's a Kahol of 1,000, there's a Kahol of 10,000. So what does he do with that? Rabbi Leil, the Tanya, Rabbi Meir, how do we know that even the babies that were pregnant, that were still in the mother's womb, they said Shida, Shenember b'Makelas Borchu Elakim El Hashem Imkar Yisrael. That even the Makar Yisrael, in other words, they were still in their mother's Makar, they also sang to the Eibishter B'Shas Kriyas Yamsuf. Vidach, and the other Tana says, we learned two things from this pasuk. It says b'Makelas, and also says Mimkar Yisrael. So from the word Mimkar, we know that the babies that were still in the mother's womb sang Shida. What would they sing Shida about? So there's a few shot in my fortune. Mela, the little babies, so the Chazal say that there were 2 racks, 1 rack for milk, and 1 rack with honey. Tachas, Tapuch, Artich.
Wait, which Shira? Shira So they sang Shira that Hashem saved them the water. What do you mean? Why
the ones in the mother's womb.
So
Didn't we
one
say
same
it
thing. They
look,
couldn't drown.
that's the one that we saw.
What?
The baby says, oh, I remember, that's the one I saw. Zehili Mamir. Look, that's the one that...
I hear what you're saying. No, you didn't miss anything. Yes, they're good cash. You're saying, versteht sich, they have to sing. They're being saved, their life is being saved right now. But then Mrs. Chazal say that the children knew already the Eibishter, because he did the miracle for them, because they were in the fields alone, and they already knew who the Eibishter was. So mainly the babies that were already born, they already knew the Eibishter. Because the miracles,
they don't know. How could they know? What's the relevance of that shit?
Yes. So
there's all
right, exactly. So there's all kinds of nice pshatim here. One is that there was a ruach kodim, and there's somewhere a Gemara that there's a certain type of ruchis that are very bad for women, and they could be mapil. And this ruach kodim came and went, and no woman was chas v'shal mapil.
It's a bit I think. It says
ruach kodim aza kol halayla.
Yeah.
So it came the Ruach Kodem and they didn't die. So they saw the miracle they before they. So by Kriyas Yamsuf, that was the second miracle they saw. Just like the babies that were already born. This was the second miracle they saw. Tachas Atapuach, they already had a miracle. That the Eibishter made for them these racks and they could drink milk. So also these babies that will remain Iman, they saw that Ruach Kodem came, they could have died and they lived. So this was like the second miracle for them. All the Tirutzim, but this is...
Didn't you say that maybe his mother's stomach learning
Yeah.
They saw the Eibishter more than us.
Right.
They don't have any Yetzirah or nothing.
Right.
I mean, even though they're in this world, at the same time, they are learning like in the Gan Eden.
Yeah. Look, the Shaila is, what was the special miracle? Because we say that the babies, they already saw the Eibishter. Because the Eibishter showed such a chesed to them that he gave them these rocks, that they had milk from these rocks. But the Ubri Mimei Iman, what did they see? So according to these Mefoshim, they also saw a special chesed. They saw the Ruach Kodem came and they yeah. Omar Rabbi Halacha Rabbi Akiva. The halacha is like Rabbi Akiva. What's the pshat? The halacha is like Rabbi Akiva. That we don't go for all these differences.
The same thing is.
I don't care if you have 10, you have 1,000.
That's taka we passed because we have there's things what I have ready can allow to have 10,000 people.
Right.
No, I don't
Right. I don't care. Right.
Not
I don't
sure.
care if you have 10, 100, 1,000, 10,000. It's the same thing. Zok the Gemara.
We had now in the Zimun Shas
Yeah.
in the studio.
And how many people they have?
100,000.
Really? Wow.
No.
It's the biggest gathering Jewish people since Kabbalah Sadeh.
What, by
Wow.
The Zimun Shas
There were a few Levias with more people, probably. Unfortunately, no. There wasn't. I don't
The
know
biggest
if you're
gathering
right.
of Jewish
Whether
people
Maisha,
but there was by the
Maisha's
Shia
Levaya
No.
is real.
Omer Rav Aloch Rabbi Akiva. The Vina of Rabbi Ben Buzi, Iklo Lebei Reish Galusa. They were in the house of the Reish Galusa. Come Rabbi V'kama Had Rabbi Meir. Rabbi was looking for 100 people to come together, so they have a fancier brocha. Omer Ravina Lo Tzrichas. There's no point looking for 100, 1,000, 10,000. It's all the same thing. Hochem Rabbi. Aloch Rabbi Akiva. Aloch Rabbi Akiva. I don't care if you have 10 or 100 or 1,000 or 10,000. It's all the same thing. Omer Rabbi. When we eat bread in the Reish Galusa's house, we used to every 3 Talmid Chacham would get together and make a Zimun quietly. You have thousands of people, there are hundreds of people, every 10 people. And for the Gemara, Shama Reish Galusa, the Reish Galusa will hear and he'll be makpid that they're in front of his face, they're making a separate group. The Gemara, so what? So let them all be yoitza from the Reish Galusa himself, and not give a Brochos of the Reish Galusa. So, and for the Gemara, I did the Avsha Kule Alma, because when the Reish Galusa would bench, there was a lot of noise, it was a huge room, there were hundreds of people, thousands of people there. Lo Shami, they couldn't hear him. So because they couldn't hear him,
They make 10-10.
so it would be, there wouldn't be yoitza. You have to hear. You have to hear. It's a problem today. Sometimes the people they make the zimun, they get the kibbutz to make the zimun, they go to sleep. You don't hear them say the end of the brocha. You're not yoitza b'chlal. You have to hear they have to say it.
How about
So you have to hear. So we learned about Amin Yisayim. It's a terrible thing. You have to hear the chazan. It's not a kunst to be about tefillah if people can't hear you. That's Amin Yisayim. If you don't hear the emes, you're missing that extra for the Ramachi Vorim. Right? So here the Reish Galusa, it was a huge room, there's a lot of noise, and they couldn't hear him, so they're not yoytz to the Zimun. But to make 10 people would be a chutzpah. The Reish Galusa would be makbid. So therefore, every 3 people quietly at the end of the table, Talmidei Chacham, 3, they would bench and they would leave. The Mashua asks, how can you do such a thing? If there's a cover to the Eibishter, Chazal say there's a mitzvah, the Rabbanan, to have 10, what do you? The Rabbanon said if you have 10, you have to you mechuyev. It's a chiyuv with the Rabbanon, right? It's not
not to break up.
So you go ahead.
to not embarrass the Reish Galusa. Therefore, you're going to be over a mitzvah the Rabbanon. So he says because Godel kavod abriya shedoicha loitasa shebatoira, which means any loitasa which is the Rabbanon. The Reish Galusa was very makbid for his kavod. It was a matter of kingdom, and it was a big thing for him. So they didn't want to mezalzel in his kavod. And it wasn't a mitzvah deraisa, it's a mitzvah derabanan. So in order not to be, because it was kavod abriyas, not to be mezalzel on the kavod of the Reish Galusa, so even though Chacham say you have to, when you have 10 people, you're mechuyev to make a zimun with 10 and say the word Elokeinu to Meshaveh the Eibishter, in order not to be mevaza the Reish Galusa, so they did it at 3. Vice is not, because if that would be true, the Masha would answer that. I would expect the Masha to answer that, but the Masha doesn't answer that. I didn't see anyone saying that. Could be. Firstly, the Reish Galusa was very. It depends which resolution. Many of them were big tzaddikim, and they wouldn't be makbid on the Talmidei Chachamim. They wouldn't harm them. The father.
The Rav doesn't have to match it, but because the time is might to match. The Rav to be mindful in things, which might be not mindful with the covenant of the Torah.
That's what the Masha is answering. The Masha is saying. I thought you were asking like this, that the Reish Galusa could chop off their head. You're not mechuyev to make a zimun. You're not mechuyev to. There's only 3 mitzvahs for that. Those 3 mitzvahs here. So for that, the answer is that the Rosh Galusa, many of them were big tzaddikim, and they would not harm any of the Talmidei Chachamim, even if they would go and make a zimun and 10 in front of their nose. They wouldn't go chop off their head or their hand or put them in jail. They wouldn't bother them, but they would be insulted. So that's what the Masha is answering. That they would be, the Reish Galusa would feel insulted, and that's Godel kavod abriyas shedoicha loitas shebatoira, which loitas oisas of the Rabbanon.
Maybe, I don't know if this makes any sense at all, but maybe it's not Myrid B'Malchus because, I don't know, it could be this nonsense, because the Reish Galusa's Kayach came from the Kayim, right?
Right, but there's a Gemara in which we once learned in Daf Hey that lo yosu shevet miyuda l'rosh gali yeshebevav. So the Torah gives them a Kayach.
Okay.
So
right.
I'm not sure.
No, that's not. I just want to. Why did we say Lamaskana with this business mituvo bituvo? With the maskanas, when you shayel the larger.
No, when you ask a little bit,
really?
Unless it's the Torah. Yeah, that's the maskana. Really? You ask a little bit, and from Torah you ask a lot.
Wow.
But the minig b'yidin is me'abissala, and then mefrek nafola shisala.
I mean, it's a question. You know? So you're saying Lamaskana, even she'ela. By we give Haidah, we give it in a lashon
for everything.
Because everything takes care of everything.
But when we have a bakosha, we ask for a little.
Beged lilba, shlachem lechem.
Yeah, exactly.
Who told me that Yochanan will walk into your house and says, "Can I have a cup of coffee?" I don't want to buy it. Can I have a coffee?
Sag die Gemara. Omar Rav Tesefta, Hanegim Okar Chilifta Bad Aduna V'Kodam Chad Menay Baruch L'Daitei. 3 people that ate bread together. One person benched. Inu Nafke B'Zimun to do. They could still make a zimun if he's with them. They could still make a zimun. They're yoytze. You loy Nafke B'Zimun to do. L'Pishayin Zimun L'Afrei. There's no Zimun L'Afrei. That's Taka D'Alocha. So if you have 3 people and one already benched, you could use them as part of your zimun. And you are Yoitza Zimun. He is not Yoitza and the mitzvah of Zimun.
Even if we benched, he's allowed.
He can answer.
Once you have 3 people, you always do make a zimun.
You can make a Zimun.
We can't say
and he can, yeah, he ate. Well, he ate.
But he benched him.
Doesn't matter.
Okay.
If he didn't eat, he can't say. He has to say that other Nusach. V'shmo Aloymer. Rav bar Pop equal Beknishta da Vegiber. He was in the Beis Knesset called a Begiber. come the Korah Sifri, he came and he leaned in the Sefer Torah, Amar Brochos Hashem, Vishtik, he didn't say the word Hamavoidach. Av Shekulei Alma, the ganze Welt hat geschrien, Hamavoidach! Yeah, what did you mean Hamavoidach? Amar Rava Pasi Ukme, he said, Klicheres, the black Klicheres. Why is such a fool? In other words, he really meant as a compliment, because Talmidei Chachamim, their kelim, their godim were not so fancy. They were like a klicheres that was blackened. So he says, "Come on, bahade pluk the lamlach." There's a machloikis if you say Brochos Hashem or you add the word Hamavoidach. What do you? Everyone agrees that you could say Brochos Hashem Hamavoidach. So. Everyone is knowing like Bishmol. So what do you have to make a fuss? Once in basic Knesset, basement Menachem Mendel. Yeah, say Hamavoidach. So once in this shul, about a year ago, there was I did the gegangen zum Torah, and he said Brochos Apitos. He said Brochos Hashem, and then he started the Broche, and he didn't say the word Hamavoidach. So everyone started screaming, but he started the bracha, so he didn't want to be mafsik. So
we were wrong. He was right.
Yes, everyone was screaming. So there was befrat one person that was after the bracha. So I said when we were talking after davening, I opened up the Gemara right here. I said everyone was right. You see, just like the Gemara over here, he did like Rav and Papa, and they did like the whole oilam. The Gemara says, "Av Shekul Alma." They were all screaming. Everyone was screaming.